Every morning, we use technology to decide which route to take to our office. We use technology to decide our playlists. Even businesses are being run with dashboards. But when it comes to the biggest financial decision of one's lifetime, buying a home, buying a commercial space, or any kind of real estate, we are still dependent on advice. Sharma ji bought a plot here. The location looks prime. And this is my favorite one. The dealer suggested it. Why believe on intuition when intelligence is available? That is why I'm here today, because in civil engineering, I learned to design structures, to build ecosystems, to design infrastructure. And as a real estate entrepreneur, I've seen real estate being built, delivered, and negotiated from a very early childhood. We need youth in real estate because it is no more an old man's game. Real estate can be used as an asset, as an investment, your sense of security, and if used right, your means to financial freedom. We spend almost 5 to 10 years of our income on buying or on doing a real estate purchase, maybe more for someone. And this decision worth crores is usually taken with less data or less analysis than a stock trade worth a mere thousands. So today I will cover a few factors which can make you a very intelligent real estate investor. So the first one is infrastructure and planning. Infrastructure, according to me, is the most intuitive one. You would know what kind of infrastructure you would like to live in. Let's assume, for simplicity, that you are a small business owner. What kind of city would you prefer to live in? The one where your workplace is within 5 kilometers radius from your residence. There are low income grade housing nearby so that your employees can also have a residence. The industrial areas should not be too far, but they should be outside the city, outside the main city. There should be schools, healthcare, supermarkets nearby your home, where so that they provide for the daily utilities. This kind of cities is not a dream anymore. The cities exist. New cities that are being planned have master plans. They have mixed land use areas where you have commercial, residential, retail in the same locality or sometimes even in the same building. Such cities are being made across the country and across the world. And when infrastructure develops, there are massive, massive chances of appreciation in the area. So always look for where the infrastructure development is going if you are up for some good returns in real estate. Look at the master plans of how the area is being developed. The connectivity increase to an area. If national highways are being built to connect new areas, those areas are almost always bound to appreciate. And you must look out for such areas in the news, on the social media, and everywhere. Bring us to the second factor. It is very important to consider who will be the end customer. Let's say, for an example, there is a project coming up 15 to 20 kilometers from the city, which has half the prices of the main city and is giving you a very good infrastructure, has good connectivity. Would you move there? Regardless of your answer, if there exists an ideal customer profile who would want to live in such an area, the area will appreciate. There is an ideal customer profile, there exists a set of people who would prefer this location over the main city, it will appreciate. People who would prefer big space over distance. Analysis like this can help you get rid of the FOMO trap created by the investors and the channel partners in the market. And you would be actually paying for the value, not just for the hype. However, in such cases, you need to make sure that there is not an oversupply. There might be a very good locality that is being developed, a good infrastructure that is being made, but there are so many projects, or even the government is making a lot of units, that the number of units is more than the ideal customer profile. In such areas, you just have to beware, or if you have to choose, go with the best developer. Which brings me to my factor three is it's important when to buy because even in such circumstances, even in case of oversupply, you can make profits. In real estate, we have a saying the best time to buy real estate is 5 years ago because the prices are always appreciating. If you usually hear this jargon around your place, good news. You're already living in a developing city. And it's easy to find good investments in this area. So usually the purchase should happen 12 to 24 months before the actual launch because that is when you get very good prices. 12 to 24 months either before the project launch or before the launch of a highway or an infrastructure element that is making the area appreciate. Because once the launch has already happened, you are paying usually a 20 to 30% premium on the property without adding 20 to 30% real value to the project or to the property that you're buying. But however, you must be afraid that let's say I buy before the launch or before the property is even constructed. What if the builder elopes? What if you never get the possession? Well, such cases have happened in the past and they will happen in future. In such circumstances, you need to understand which developer to trust. Which brings me to my fourth factor, that is the developer's reputation. You must check a developer's track record of what he has delivered in the past. How many projects have been delivered? Usually, when there are more than 3 to 4 projects being delivered by the same builder, he has a good saying in the market, and it is very difficult that you are likely to get fraud. Being in a real estate family, I have understood that legacy takes years to build, but one possession delay or one bad project can destroy that legacy as well. So always check the record of the builder. It is easy to know the reputation. You can just go on any search engine or on the social media. If people are being treated good, they might or might not post it online. But if somebody has been treated bad, they will post it online. So finding nothing is a good news in today's world. You should also look for any possession delays that have happened in the past. Possession delays usually attract lawsuits and they're easy to know using a lawyer. If there has been constant record of delays by a certain developer, you should beware. Even after checking all these factors, let's say there is somebody new in the market or a new area that is developing, which is meeting all your demands, but still you're unsure about whether to trust the developer. There are some checks made by the government themselves to ease the home buyer's job. How many of you have heard about RERA, Real Estate Regulation Authority? This is my fifth factor, the government approvals. Real Estate Regulation Authority protects home buyers from getting fraud by the developers. Once a project is RERA approved, the developer cannot change the layout plan or the amenities without the buyer's consent. It is a rule by binding. And there is a 70% escrow account being made, which has to be used for development. You cannot use it to fund other projects. Other than that, RERA tribunals are different from the normal civil courts. There are separate courts established, separate judges, so that justice is served faster, and you do get compensation if there are still delays are being made. Other than the RERA approvals, also check for government bank approvals. If a project is backed by government banks or government banks are approving your purchase, it's a very good sign. It's a green light to go ahead. Other than that, you can check for a clear land title deed. If the developer is able to provide a clear land title deed, you can easily trust them because this is as clear as it gets. At the RERA website, you should always check it yourself. You can also check the layout plan that is being proposed to you and that is being uploaded on the website. And you will also get to know if there are any units that are mortgaged or have been converted to or have been reserved for economically weaker sections. This will give you clarity on what you're buying and how that is good for you and you're not getting frauded. These were the 5 factors that you must consider before your next real estate purchase to become a technologically advanced and aware real estate buyer. We have all realized as a conclusion that real estate is less about buildings or land and it is more about trust, time, and the future that you're buying into. Look for infrastructures because the tools to look for good investments exist today. The data exists today. The laws exist, and so does the intelligence. All we need is a mindset shift. From Sharmaji said to show me the numbers, from mere intuition to actual conviction, from the fear of missing out to the real why behind why this is the right investment for me is what we need. This is why I recommend that we need youth in real estate for the accountability and putting logic into it. Because when you put logic into an old school industry like real estate stops being risky. Thank you.